Amelia was born into a poor working-class family in the suburbs of England. Her mother was a laundry worker in an old factory, and her father was a car mechanic. Although her parents loved her very much, they could barely afford to provide Amelia with medical care, especially dental care. Amelia had been suffering from tooth decay since she was 7 years old. The first black spots appeared, followed by persistent pain when eating hot or cold foods. But every time she had pain, her mother would just give her a painkiller from the local pharmacy, and she would continue to go to school with a closed smile. Amelia was born into a poor working-class family in the suburbs of England. Her mother was a laundry worker in an old factory, and her father was a car mechanic. Although her parents loved her very much, they could barely afford to provide Amelia with medical care, especially dental care. Amelia had been suffering from tooth decay since she was 7 years old. The first black spots appeared, followed by persistent pain when eating hot or cold foods. But every time she had pain, her mother would just give her a painkiller from the local pharmacy, and she would continue to go to school with a closed smile. Amelia always dreamed of becoming a radio announcer. She loved her voice, loved music, loved telling stories. But every time she recorded her voice, she only heard the out-of-rhythm, unnatural breathing, and unclear pronunciation because of her crooked teeth. That made her put her dream aside and apply for an office job, where there was little communication and no need to express too much emotion. For more than 10 years, Amelia lived like a shadow. Every morning she put on makeup carefully, but always avoided crowded meetings. At company parties, she always made up excuses to be absent. Her friends gradually became less and less. She gradually got used to loneliness, or rather, resigned, until one fateful day. In June 2023, Amelia volunteered with a group of volunteers to the northern mountainous region to support health checkups for ethnic minority children. There, she met Lynn, a little girl only 7 years old, with a toothless smile. 5 teeth had been pulled. When Amelia asked, "Does it hurt when you pull your teeth?" Lynn just shook her head and smiled. "It doesn't hurt as much as when my friends tease me." That sentence was like a needle piercing Amelia's heart. She saw herself again, a child who was afraid to laugh, who was bullied, who silently endured. That night, she couldn't sleep. In the dim light, she took out a small mirror from her backpack and looked straight at herself. For the first time in a long time, she cried, not because of the pain, but because she realized she had neglected herself for too long. Back in the city, Amelia began her transformation journey. She went to a large dental clinic, where the doctor told her straight out that her teeth needed at least 10 months of treatment. The total cost was almost half of her savings from 7 years of working. She hesitated, was afraid, but then signed the treatment form. She accepted to start everything over again. The first stage was painful: orthodontics, braces, extraction of several decayed teeth, scaling, root canal treatment. There were nights when she came home, her mouth ached so much that she couldn't sleep. But every time she wanted to give up, she remembered Lynn, and herself as a child. 7 months later, Amelia entered the cosmetic porcelain veneer stage. Looking at her new, bright, white teeth, she smiled brightly in the mirror. for the first time in nearly 20 years. After finishing her treatment, Amelia wrote a handwritten letter to the organizers of a local broadcasting competition she had missed out on years ago. She didn't expect to be accepted, she just wanted to share her journey. Unexpectedly, the judges were moved by the story. They invited her to audition. And Amelia's voice, now confident, expressive, and full of emotion, won them all over. She became a broadcaster for a small local station. Not famous, not luxurious, but every morning when she said good morning, hundreds of people were inspired. Amelia's story is proof that a smile can be the thing that changes a person's life. Not because it is beautiful, but because behind it is a journey of struggle, overcoming deep hurt and fear. Amelia not only healed her teeth, but also her broken heart. Now, she regularly makes videos sharing her dental care journey, encouraging others who used to feel self-conscious like her. And most importantly, she is no longer afraid to smile. She smiles brightly, as if the world has never hurt her.